ready to start.
Fighting out of South London, England, here is Jay Bruto Bostwick!
I train out of a church on a Wednesday for about once a week. It worked out for about maybe 6 months or something, and then a fight opportunity popped up, and I just turned 16. I was still at school doing my GCSEs and stuff, and they said, oh yeah, look, do you want to fight semi-pro, no money, blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I was prepped, going to fight as a semi-pro, and then I got offered to fight at Cage Rage Contenders 1. Pro rules, head stomping was allowed, it was like full on, yeah. And I was all like, yeah, and that come up when I was getting like £100 or something. I was like, 100 quid. I was 16, but obviously legally you got to be 18 to fight professionally. So I was like, okay, I was like, I'm on it. Fuck it, let's give it a go. And then that was it. Got the contract, flagged my date of birth, and full pro at 18. A guy was 23, 6'4". It was my first fight. Yeah, I was at school doing my GCSEs, bro. I remember it. And yeah, I knocked the kid out, well, knocked the man out in 9 seconds.
So where you from?
The Ferrier, when I was younger, was actually quite a nice place. As far as I can remember the Ferrier, I remember it when it was all nice and sunny, and they had a little play park in all the estates, Romero Square, Dando Crescent and all that. And they had like a little play park. And I remember being young and playing around and stuff. I remember there was always, you know, you always get little odd bullies here and there. It was nothing that bad when I was that young, it was okay. When I got to like 13, 14, maybe 15, there was more problems, more dramas, you know, I know, people getting robbed or stabbed and stuff like that. Then you see more, the park got closed down in most of the estates because of infestation of bugs and stuff. I do remember this, drugs and stuff going on, you know, crime and stuff around the estates. But for me, it wasn't a big issue. But being around it, you see it, hear it, you know, helicopters, you know, chasing people around the estates, things like that. It's crazy, mate. It was a bit mad, but the fact that I grew up on it and it's now gone and it's now all new buildings and stuff, it's a little bit sad. But everyone knows the Ferrier and everyone around, you know, the Kidbrooke Manor will know it, you know, and it was home. So. Where I got beat by Michael Pastu, my first loss, and obviously he was at Titan at the time. And then he said about training, and I didn't go and train with them guys. And the fact of how good Mickey Paps's jits is, his wrestling, you know, his all-round MMA style is phenomenal. It was like, how can I not be with a team like that? Whereas Joe Max, you know, he's got background in kickboxing and whatnot. His wrestling, everything's okay, but it's not on a high professional level, whereas how Mickey's is. And yeah, that was it really. I just kind of, I went to Mickey's and trained down there. I was training with Steve, but then I started to train with Dan Harris, and then I went with Kieran. I've been with Kieran now like 5 years straight, and that's never changed. He's still my out and right, you know, #1 striking coach, and Mickey is my full-on MMA coach. So he still does striking with me, but yeah, you know, that was a big move for me, and it really helped me out. Action.
Cut.
The main thing came up, a few pals spoke about it, mentioned about it. You know, said maybe I should do like a little gimmick or something that would be cool, interesting. You know, get people talking and like, you know, just something different. You know, a lot of people wear masks or wear something, but you know, a full bane outfit is something different. So yeah, at the end of the day, my debut at Cage Warriors, I was like, do you know what, let's test it out. Got myself the vest and got myself the mask, spent a bit of money, you know. I had the mask was actually you know, sent over from the States, you know. So yeah, you know, and it worked out great, and it got everyone talking about Bane as me, and yeah, it was really happy with it. It really helps promote the sport and for ourselves, you know. At the end of the day, MMA is, you know, definitely one of the biggest sports, you know, in the world, you know. It's such a tough, hard sport, and the fact that it's hard to get sponsors and stuff, things like this can go far, and people might come to you about it.
It's turning into a really kind of dirty fight. Both fighters.
Nice leg kick.
Illegal tech.
Oh,
and there's a huge jump.
It rocks him. Bostwick is going for the kill.
Unbelievable KO.
My first fight against Denison was really tough. That was my biggest step in MMA. My second fight with him, obviously I knocked him out in the first, and you know, it was done not pretty easily, but I didn't have a war, so it was okay, you know. After that fight, it was like, right, I need to, you know, I really want to talk about going to welterweight, because I wasn't lean, you know, I'm not a big welterweight, a big middleweight, you know. So I was like, I really need to make that move, and it was like there was an opportunity popped up that that Maguire had gone to UFC and the welterweight title was available. And I was like, oh, I want to go for a shot for this. So I spoke to Dave, and Dave said, okay, cool. And he was like, do you know what? You versus Jermaine, because Jermaine wanted to fight for the belt. And that was it, and that's how it came about. So I had a target, whereas before that it was like just fighting a middleweight was just my thing. But the fact that I had a welterweight fight lined up, I had to prep for it. So I did, got my weight down, so forth, and you know, knocked him out and took the belt as well. So, you know, that's how it all rolled into one.
Bostwick comes out firing as well. You expect he might.
He catches Facey, but Facey
needs to keep his hands up. Facey's got to be very careful. He is all over the place. Bostwick lands a reaching shot. He's put him out.
He is out. Jake Bostwick has knocked out Jermaine Facey.
I just knocked out Denison, just knocked out Jermaine. It was like, okay, what's next? So, you know, then management come about. I was going to go with Chris Figg at Elite. We sort of spoke about it, but it never really went through. And then Intensity come about, and Kieran sorted that to speak with Graham Boylan. And then when we spoke about doing the form of management, it was a 3-year contract, blah, 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 what he can do for me and so forth. He said, obviously, if you do sign with me, I'll probably will put you on Cage Warriors. You know, the way it is run, it is like a mini UFC event. You know, it's run so well. It's publicised very well. They got a lot of great fighters, a lot of international fighters. They fly people all the time. They fight sort of abroad, and it's not the Troxy every time. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, do you know what? I just want to change the scenery. I'd had like 19 or 20 fights at UCMA at the Troxy. So I've had a lot of fights there, you know. So I was like, I want to change. And that was it really. I signed a contract with Graham, and that's it. He managed me, and then obviously put me on first show in Amman in Jordan. My first fight for Cage Warriors was in the Middle East. It was awesome, you know. So it was worth the change just to try something different. You know, no hard feelings with Dave, because at the end of the day he's a friend as well as a, you know, a businessman. He was obviously a little bit gutted because, you know, I put on a good show at his events. But yeah, you know, he just, you know, he said it is what it is. Same people get signed, go to the UFC, or people go here, there and everywhere. It's one of them things. I got to the top of the ladder, and I just need to take the next step to somewhere different.
Fighting out of Paris, France, here is Boubacar Blackout Balde.
That fight really opened my eyes to the fact of the difference in size. As soon as he weighed in on fight day, brother, dude was massive. He was so big, you know, and obviously I got a little bit of meat and that around my belly, and he just was just muscle, mate. You know, he was a big dude. But then again, I was on my toes jumping around in the third, and he was absolutely blowing. So it just shows you maybe the cut for him was a bit much, and you know, having that bit of extra meat, which I did have, I was slugging it out. 3 rounds, mate, I didn't stop, you know. And it was a really good fight. Obviously the cut and that really gave the fight a lot of character. Me dropping him in the third, obviously, again, was awesome. You know, we did have a really good fight, and yeah, you know, it's gone down in history for me as a, you know, I got a fight of the night bonus for that. So it's, you know, it was good fun. Really enjoyed it. What I know is Graham Boylan left, so there's no form of management for running the events. Someone obviously needs to be in charge, and that's that. The guy that owns Cage Warriors is a guy out in the Middle East. Okay, he funds it. He's put millions into the company, as far as I know, or hundreds of thousands, whatever, to make it to what it is now in the last 5 years or so. Obviously, they're looking at getting new management. Whether they have or not, I don't know still. But once they have a form of new management, the shows will be up and running again. They've got a few things up their sleeve, apparently a few surprises for people. Again, nothing that I know personally. I think I do, but something obviously I'm not going to talk about. But at the end of the day, Cage Warriors is not going anywhere. It makes no difference for me because I'm not contracted to Cage Warriors. I'm signed to Graham Boylan's management, and he was part of managing the Cage Warriors itself. So obviously he's going to put me on the show. That was all. So I'm actually signed to nothing. I'm happy to fight for any show, as long as, I'm not all about the money, but I'm not going to fight for peanuts. If I break my hand or both my hands in an absolute slugfest and get cut or whatever, money, will be a factor. I won't be able to do personal training or whatever, So at the end of the day, obviously money's got to be right. As long as the money's right and the fight's going to be a good fight, I'm happy. Doesn't matter where it is, makes no difference. Well, I live with my dad, and he's always has training, has this, has that. He follows a lot of MMA, he follows the UFC and whatever. And the fact of how much effort and stuff he puts into knowing how I'm getting on, what I'm learning, what's new, how's my weight, how's this, how's that. He's my best friend, and it's nice to have someone like that always on my case. If I'm slipping up or my weight might not be good or whatever, he'll have a go at me, literally. I'm under his roof, I go by his rules, and if he's not happy, he'll say. Sometimes a little bit too strict on me. I'm an adult, but I've got to listen to daddy, man. It is what it is. So I respect my dad a lot, and that's it. But he's just there for me, in every way. If I need money or he wants to come training or whatever, he comes just to watch me train, and he shows his support to say, oh mate, oh wicked, what you've been learning, what's this, what's new, da da da. He just always shows a lot of input, and it's nice. Confident, I believe that I'm going to get to the top. I'm on a good path. I've got a lot of good people behind me. Got a great team and stuff, and I'm on my way to the top, man. I'm very confident about that. I'm going to be one of the best. I'm going to knock some more people out because that's what I need to be doing. I'm a ledge.
Anybody out there feels like I'm talking to myself? No one seems to know my struggle and everything I come from. Yeah. Anybody hear me? Yo, I guess I keep talking to myself. Feels like I'm going insane. Am I the one who's crazy? Oh.